All right, so we have all of our grain in the mash tun, our grain in hot water, and we're ready to start recirculating it. All right, so all this is fine adjustment valve. You can see right here it says runoff valve. We're gonna start dropping the liquid down through the mash grate, through the false bottom, through this sight glass, through our grant, and then we're gonna recirculate it back up to the top of the mash. What you're gonna see is you're gonna see a lot of grain come through here at first, and then over the course of that recirculation, it's going to run clear of grain, and that's the whole purpose. We're gonna have to redraw that orange line, Josh, but there's an orange line here that I like to start at, which is right here. I like to check that line up there too to make sure that we're not ripping that down real far. Sometimes I will give it a quick kick to increase the pull and maybe pull more grain from right around from the holes around the bottom. If you just give it a quick pulse like that, it's not going to collapse that whole bed, but it might help you run a little bit clearer. You're going to see that wort start to build up in the grant now. It's filling the grant. Our good man Ulysses. I'm just feeling the top of the grant to feel that fill up. And then we're gonna start this Vorlauf for this recirculation. So what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be pulling the liquid down out of this, and it's gonna come pumping back up this louder Vorlauf and be returned to the top of the mash. And pump is on. I'm gonna dial that down. And this is all visual, Josh. Bro, I think that looks great. And so we're going to be gently pumping off of the grant, returning to the top, and we want this to run clear. Go ahead and set a timer for 25 minutes, because that's how long we're gonna run that recirc, and then mark it on your sheet. The start of the recirc is, by the time you get over there, look at your time, During this stage, we'll be checking the temperature of the wort. Toward the tail end, we'll be checking sugar productions, sugar conversion, saccharification, turning the starch into sugar. We'll measure the sugar that is in solution. Primarily what we're looking to do right now is to make this free of grain. Kind of what we used to say when everybody made clear beer was you want this to run clear, but this grist in particular really isn't going to run clear because of the amount of wheat notes that we have in it. So getting it to run clear for this application is probably the clearest way to put that. So, all right, yeah, we're looking pretty good here, man. I feel good about that. Just, we are running the recirc. We're about 5-10 minutes into it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a quick shot inside the mash tun where that's recirculating to. Again, we're pulling off kind of that grain particulate, that heavy haze off the bottom of the mash tun through the false bottom, which is helping to filter that. And it is going right there. Boom. Kind of gently, hazy, kind of gently recirculating to the top of the mash. This helps to set the grain bed to where we can flow the sparge water cleanly through it. The idea being able to continue to rinse sugar through that mash bed. Things are looking good. We've got our salts and acids measured up for the sparge. Yeah, I think that's pretty much what we've got going on for now. We've already talked about malt-wise, recipe-wise, what we're doing to make this beer as hot forward as we can make it. And also we discussed water-wise, what we're doing to make it as hot forward as we can. We are going to be doing a technique that is new to us to within the last year, which is dropping the temperature of the whirlpool. So when we get done with the boil, we're going to be dropping the temperature of the entire kettle. I'll show you how we do that, and then I'll explain that process and why we're doing it as we lead up to it. But yeah, that's kind of the next process point that's a little bit different for this style of beer.